Welcome everyone. So I would like to invite you all to find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting, standing, lying down. Just ensure that you are in a place where you can be fully present, not distracted, and ease. So just settle in. You might choose to gently close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Now take a moment to tune into your body. Feel the points of contact between your body and the chair or the floor. And just notice any sensations that are present in your body. Don't judge them. Don't try to change anything. Just observe any sensation. Now, what I would like you to do is to place one or both of your hands in your chest area, heart area, and feel the warmth of your hand and the gentle rise and fall of your chest with every breath. You're going to engage in a heart-focused breathing. The intention is to connect with our bodies, our minds, and create a space of calm and openness for our session. Now keep your hand on your heart space, and take a deep breath in. And imagine your breath is flowing deeper into your heart, filling it with calmness. And then exhale slowly, releasing any tension or tightness. Let's try it. Breathe in, calmness. And breathe out any tension or tightness. Continue to breathe this manner in a rhythm that's comfortable to you. And while you breathe, keep focus on your heart area. And as you breathe into your heart space, you might envision a soft light in your heart area, glowing brighter with every breath that you're taking, symbolizing love, warmth, and compassion. And as you breathe out, imagine this light expanding throughout your body, reaching every cell, every corner, filling you with sense of peace and calm. In this space, there is no right or wrong, no judgment, just acceptance and presence. If you find your mind wandering around, gently bring your focus back to your heart and to your breath. Continue a few cycles of breath. Soak in feeling of calm, compassion, and connection. When you feel ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the room. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And when ready, start to open your eyes. And as we transition into our session, carry this sense of calm and openness with you. Remember, this is a safe place, a compassionate place that we have created together for our time together here. Now, the session today is embracing life after loss, which means healing from grief. So what we are going to do is we are going to get into a little bit into understanding grief and also understanding neuroscience of grief, and then also what it takes to heal grief. Just know a bit of a process. And I'll share my story because I lost my father a few years ago, and I have gone through that. And then what we'll do is we'll identify your pattern. So I've sent to you 3 questions. The idea is for you to be ready. Each of us have faced some kind of loss, and for some of us it's been difficult. And so the idea is to help you overcome that. So identify your patterns, and then we'll get into Somatic IFS and then into sound, always to help you release whatever comes up for you. And then we'll get into Q&A, where if you have anything that you want to clarify, you're always welcome to do that. So let's get into understanding a little bit of grief. Now, grief is a natural process as a response to a loss. The emotional suffering you feel when someone or something is taken away from you that you loved. This can be due to death of a loved one or end of a relationship, loss of health or job, or any change that alters your life as you know it. It is important to understand that while grief is universal, everyone has his own unique journey, and it's very difficult to say, well, this means that because somebody else went through that. So each of us have a very different journey of handling grief or going through loss. Now, experience of grief is often unfolds in waves, which may be sometime you may feel, sometime it's like overwhelming, and there are other times when you feel calm. So it comes into form of waves. So it's like a sea which is calm and then suddenly becomes like waves crashing, and often unexpectedly reflecting your you can have intense bouts of sadness or anger or rage or even longing for a person that is, or a thing that is lost. So you go through this. So it's not like you have always the same thing. You go through ups and downs, and as you go through that. Now, grief often involves ranges of emotion. And I think if you go on the internet, you will find those 7 or 5 different types of emotion that come up. And you may often feel yourself being numb or in disbelief. Depends how the loss was. Okay, if it's a shock, then it has a different aspect. If it's something that you knew was coming, then it has a different connotation. But this always follows different kind of emotions. You can have pang of yearning or sadness, loneliness, and as a loss sinks in. And then you may also have guilt about things that have been said or not said, or done or not done, or sometimes anger at yourself because of the loss, because something that you would have wanted to do and not able to do, or something done that has regret. So you go through all those different emotions, and it's like what we said, waves. And among those waves of grief, you might even experience sometime moment of joy or lightness. And so normally it's what is said is that it's perfectly okay to understand that grief isn't a linear journey. It's often a roller coaster ride of emotions. And as you go through grief, you may also have impact, you may feel impact physical health. You may have difficulty in sleeping, experience changing in appetites, or you feel tired all the time. Now this is, and we'll go into that, this is from a neuroscience point of view, it's what your brain, how the brain processes grief, and you have an emotional trauma, and that then actually becomes the overwhelming emotion that then takes over, and then you have fight or flight or depends where you are, and cortisol come in, and so there is a lot of, let's say, stress response that gets triggered. Now, also grief can impact your identity. For example, when I lost my father was the only person in my life who understood my journey and path. All the rest of the family thought I'm crazy or what I was doing. And he was the only one who stood by me. And so not only I was grieving his absence, but also I had to refine myself in my own family without his presence. So your worldview may shift, and things that were once seem important may lose significance, and things that you did not care start to become too important. And just to remind, because this was something that when I lost my father, my mother was going through that, is she refused to grieve because she thought we are trying to make her forget about her loss or about her husband. Okay. And so healing grief doesn't mean you're forgetting the loss at all, or you are going to return to old normal. It's actually about learning to live with your loss, honoring the memories of the one that you've lost, finding a way to move forward, and finding hope and resilience. And hence, healing is not a destination. It's not that you arrive there and you have done, it's over. It's normally a journey. And there's one thing that I want to add is cultural rituals actually play a very important role in supporting this journey of grief. Every culture has a way by which it treats grief, loss, and it's very important to go through those nuances, cultural nuances, because they have a meaning and they make the journey of handling grief easier because this comes from ages. Okay. Now, it's also important to remember that asking help is okay. Connecting with others, expressing your feeling, seeking professional support if it needs to be. And that's what we are going to do today is you are actually in a way, somehow, destined to come here to help you process what you may have not yet processed, but maybe left out. And that's what we are going to do, to have you basically share with yourself and heal and discover your journey. Now, let's get into the neuroscience a bit of it. And so I'm not a neuroscientist, so just know that. Okay, what I've learned and understood is what I'm telling you, but it's important in the context of learning. And so grief has an emotional response to the loss, but it also has a significant effect on the brain and our neurobiological processes. So the first one is your emotional and memory processing centers, which is in your limbic system, the amygdala and hippocampus. They play an really crucial role in how we experience and process grief. So amygdala, often referred to as a brain's fear center, is responsible for processing and interpreting emotional reactions such as fear, anger, sadness. The hippocampus, on the other hand, is responsible for memory formation and retrieval, which means in the context of grief, it is the one that constantly retrieves the memories associated with the lost one and contribute to feeling of sadness and longingness. And so when you work through that, this is what you're also working to change. Now, there is also a stress response. We talked about that you get into the tiredness of physical symptoms is because your stress response system kicks in, it gets activated, and that literally means more stress hormones like cortisol. Why this reaction is normal in a short term, we are all used to that. Is the problem is when this continues to be a long story, the prolonged activation of stress response, which means when you have a very long period of grief, can then start to get into your mental health, into your physical health as well. And there is that aspect of neuroplasticity and adaptation, which is our brain capacity to change and adapt. And so when we start to heal and navigate grief, our brain also gradually adapts to the absence of the loved one and learns to respond differently to the cues that we get used to with the person, because normally you have the memory of the person, but then as you start to engage yourself into the grieving process, those memories start to change its aspect. So it goes from loss to compassion to love. All those aspects start to come in. So the thing is that grief is not just an emotional or psychological process, but also it's a physiological one. And that's what we try to do in this session today. That's why we chose to use Somatic IFS, is because we know that grief also sits physically in the body. Now, what are the processes? So typically I always try to highlight how can somebody go through grief. Is a little bit linked to also what I did for myself in many ways. First is to acknowledge, and this to me was really important. Also, when I lost my father, for my mom, she had to acknowledge the loss, because denial then leads to more aggravation of grief. Okay, and so understanding that it is a loss, there's a reason that he went, because he had prolonged illness. Okay, and in a way to bless his life and to accept that it was for him the right to go. Okay, he had lived his life, but he was you have to bring to that aspect of acceptance, which is the most difficult one. Okay, and so you basically start to acknowledge that I am going through all of this. I am going through grief. This is what I'm experiencing as an emotion. Start to express it out. And that comes to the second point, which is expressive feeling. Okay, when you do not express, then they get bottled up, and we know what it does. This is why the stress response will be much more in effect physiologically. And there are a lot of processes by which you can do talking, you can writing. Writing is very, very form. People do painting, people do music. There are many ways by which you can express your grief. And that's why I always talk about cultures. Most cultures have process that help you go through grief and the feeling of expression of feeling. Okay. Seeking support, this is absolutely paramount, which means sometime with your friends, family, but also therapy, I mean, if it is relevant. Okay. And what we try to do in this group today is also to try to bring more, the idea is to bring more empathy, and sometime with sharing of your experiences in the Q&A, you can hear each other, what they have done and what they've gone through, and that helps others to say, I'm not alone. Because one of the things which is there when you are in deep grief is that you feel you are alone, and why did it happen to me? That was the thing. And then we will do today this form of therapy, but there are many forms of therapy to help overcome grief. We will do somatic, and the idea is to help you uncover a part of you that holds the sadness, and through this guided process you start to learn about it, learn more about it, and to also learn about what needs to happen for this to go through. And as I said, every person is different, everyone is going through different process. And then self-care, this is absolutely important. Whatever happen, remember you have a body, and the body has to be taken care. So while you're going through a very difficult time, your body needs absolutely care. So regular exercise, adequate sleep, drinking, eating healthy, just the general aspect of overall well-being is so paramount, because at the end is your body that will carry you through, and you need to take care of it while you are navigating the process of working with your grief. Okay, so again, remember, there is no set timeline for grief. Everybody's experience is different. And some of these things may help you in navigating something if this is still holds valid for you, which means you're still processing some form of grief. Okay. So to prepare for the session, what I said to you is 3 questions. And so see if you have not done it till now, take a moment. I'll hold on for a few minutes. Okay. If you can reflect on your personal experience of loss and grief and how it has impacted your life, your daily life, and how you look at the world. And if you can connect to grief, then see how do you physically, either you have a physical sensation about it or you see images. Where do you feel it, or what kind of images you see often? And then key question is, what do you want from this session today for you? Okay, so we are just going to begin. See if you can start to be relaxed and just find a peaceful and more relaxing place. You can sit there. Just to make a comment, as we are going to go through all this, you can work on one thing because you're going to have recording of this session. So you can do the other griefs in while you play back the recording. Okay. Just want to make that point. So you can take the one that makes you feel the most if you want to. Okay, so go back, find a peaceful and restful place, and make sure your body is comfortable. And if you want, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Now begin by taking a few slow, deep breaths. Draw the air through your nose, filling your lungs completely, and exhale from your mouth, letting go any tension or worry. Maintain this rhythm for a couple of breaths. Inhale through your nose, deep breath in, fill your lungs, and exhale from your mouth. Now kindly shift your attention to the area in your body where you sense the most tension or unease related to your grief that you just took in. So as you think about the grief, just notice, where do you feel it in around your body? And as you focus here, observe any sensations, emotions, or thoughts that surface. Just notice your emotion or thoughts. As your awareness deepens, welcome the part of you carrying the grief to come forward. This could be an inner child, a protective part, or another aspect of you bearing this emotional burden. Now move your attention to the physical sensation linked to this part. You may feel any kind of tightness, discomfort, or feelings arising in your body. Now direct your attention to that sensation and breathe into that sensation as if you're really breathing into that physical area where you feel the sensation. Keep breathing, and on every exhale, you can also send a soothing sound to this area. You can try or ah or any other sound that appears for you soothing. And observe how that part responds to the sound. And you can try different sounds. And find the one that feels most comfortable for you, soothing for you. Now notice how you feel towards this part and see if you can become compassionate and curious towards it. Just see if you can feel a bit of compassion and curiosity. And ask a question: what is your intention for me? And give the part some time to respond. If it is challenging to hear the part or it is hesitant to communicate, simply acknowledge its presence and reassure that you are here to aid in the healing process. Remember to stay compassionate and curious towards it. And now ask another question. What are you afraid would happen to me? And see what you get as a response. What are your fears? And ask again, what are you really afraid would happen to me? And see what you get. Now ask it what it requires from you to feel secure, understood, and supported. Notice how do you feel towards it. Notice your feeling now. And stay compassionate and curious. Now carefully shift your focus to the physical sensation associated with this part. You may alternatively see some pictures or images. See if you can concentrate on the sensation or images. And now find a corresponding somatic resource. It's a place in your body that feels grounded, strong, or calm, or the sound that you tried before that brings you comfort. See if you can find that resource. Now extend this somatic resource and envision that it is supporting energy to the part holding grief, the physical sensation or the image. This might manifest as a warm, soothing light or a comforting sound or embrace. Allow the part to receive this support and start releasing any tension or discomfort that it may be holding. Continue to offer this somatic support to the part for a few moments more, and allowing it to process and release any emotions or memories related to the grief. And if any additional parts emerge during the process, acknowledge them and extend the same somatic resource and same compassionate support to them. As you sense the part beginning to relax and integrate, thank it for its openness to engage in this healing process. Acknowledge the courage and resilience it has shown in carrying the grief. Express your gratitude for its role in your life. And take a moment to express your vision for your life to all parts of you. What do you want for you? Let everybody in your system know. And let your system also know that you may come back and work with other griefs that may be there. If you hear that as a chatter in your head, you can always tell your system, I will be back to work on other griefs, other losses. And thank everyone inside of you for their role, and feel compassion and gratitude for them. Slowly begin to come back. Back to the present moment. You can wriggle your toes and be here. And if you want to take a few moments to take some notes while we prepare for the tuning fork session, go ahead to do that. Take a couple of minutes to prepare. Okay, so we are going to begin with the tuning fork session. So the way it works is we open the two. So if you think about yourself as a torus, there's a north pole and the south pole. And within tuning forks, what we do is first open the two poles, the positive, which is actually we start with the bottom of feet, so the one below, and then open the one on top, so that the whole channel, your whole system, your all chakras get opened up. And then as today we are dealing with grief, so we will go straight to the heart center, which is in the area of your chest and on the left side. Okay. And what I do is that I go through, starting from your time that you are in mother's womb, and go through all the ages, and I will tell you an age, something is coming up, and what I want you to do is to think if that makes sense in your system, or something that could have happened, bring it up, bring the emotion that you felt at that time, and then with the tuning fork we release. Okay, and we go through the process. Now there's a breathing that needs to happen. The breathing is a little bit like you take a deep breath in and you breathe out from your mouth. So I'm going to just say breathe. Okay, I'm not going to do breathing, otherwise it disturbs your process. But I do. So when I say breathe, so you do. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Okay, and then sometime I will say, well, do a release with the sound. So you do. It's part of the process to release. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start bottom of the feet, go to the top, and then to the heart center. Now what I want you to do is, for a moment, just for a moment, think about what you just told your system about your vision for your life. Just connect to that. And here we go. Okay, so we start at the below the feet. So I'm going to start with the tuning fork, opening up just below your feet. So take a breath. Take a breath. So I'm basically pointing towards your feet from below and opening the channel which goes through your backbone to the top of the head, and just opening all the centers in between. So there it goes. Take a breath. Take a breath. Okay. So you open the center below the feet. I'm going to open above your head. Take a breath. Take another breath. So I'm pointing the tuning fork into the top of your head, so opening the channel from the top to the bottom of your feet. Take another breath. Okay, so now we have opened the two centers. Now what I'm going to do is, so imagine I'm on the left side of your heart, about 6 feet at the extreme, and this is where is your time or the place of birth. Okay, and from birth we will actually, I'll go to your mother's womb, and then walk back up to the present time. Okay, and whenever I find something, I will tell you, well, this is this age, and you see what comes up for you. Okay, and I'm changing the tuning fork so you'll hear a different frequency. So now I'm in in the mother's, so you being in mother's womb. Immediately. So take a breath, deep breath. So it's literally time of conception. Yeah, straight into heart, sadness. So the time you actually came into the world. So see if you can connect to that sensation, if it makes sense for you. And just breathe. If you want, you can make that noise. Just easing a bit. So still in mother's womb, progressed 6 months. Okay, so there's something else coming up. Still in the heart, so sadness. It may be sadness taken by one of the parents. Or something happened in the family and gets reflected to the mother. Take a breath. Okay, so that cleared away. So now I'm at the time of your birth. Now, birth is always stressful for the baby. You'll always find something there. So see if you can just send blessing, love to the baby and to the mother. Yeah, there is something there. Take a breath and see if you can send love to mom, your mother, and to the baby coming in. Just welcome him or her. Well, there's more. Okay, it looks like fear. Sometimes a little baby get with doctors and other things, so the sense of fear. So I'm going to use a tuning fork to clear it away. You don't hear it. Take a breath. Make a sound. Okay, we're cleared. Okay, so we're going to progress now. Past birth. Yeah, 6 months, even not even 6 months old. Take a breath. A lot of pain in the chest, so well. So whatever comes up for you, it's also going into the back, as if the baby doesn't feel supported. So just bring it up and Take a breath, make a sound, got cleared. Take a breath. Okay, so now it's coming to 5-year-old. So see what comes up when I say 5-year-old. It's going in the head. So either linked to somebody who's an authority figure, can be father, can be teacher, can be somebody in the family. 5-year-old, so normally it's somebody in the family. Elder sibling, something going on there. Somebody trying to put you down. Take a breath. Still very strong. So I'm going to change the tuning fork, releasing you. You continue to breathe. And if you have to make that sound, please do that. That eased. He's saying 8-year-old. This time it's much more sadness or grief, or like a loss. Take a breath. Got cleared. So in your mid-30s, so 35, something came up. Bring it up and just breathe. Okay, so now I'm at the place which is what your mother went through that has affected your life. It's called the river of mothers and sisters. The things you have inherited from your mother's side. So just send love to her. Which means what your mother went through when she was growing up. Her unresolved issues. Take a breath. Okay, so now we are going to release everything we have collected till now over your heart center. Take a breath. Take a long breath. So we are going to wrap it up and set the body to continue processing healing. Or whatever change that has to happen continues for next 48 hours. And to wrap up the body with 528 hertz. So like a cocoon. Relax. So stay with your eyes closed and take a deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and exhale. Continue to breathe this way. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And with every exhale, release any tension or thoughts that remain from the session. Now place your hand on your heart and feel the steady beat of your heart under your palm. Recognize the incredible resilience within you, the strength that you have carried throughout your grief and into this space of healing and rediscovery. Imagine a warm, comforting light emanating from your heart and spreading throughout your body. This light is filled with compassion, understanding, and healing energy. It reaches every part of you. Those that are healing, those that have been healed, and those that are yet to heal, offering them comfort and reassurance. Let's take a moment to honor all parts of you that participated to this journey today. Recognize their bravery and thanking them for their willingness to engage in this process of healing. Now envision this warm light expanding beyond your body, filling the space around you, touching everything and everyone in your life. This is the joy, understanding, and peace that you are reintegrating into your life. Take a few more deep breaths, inviting this sense of peace and calm to linger. Finally, gently bring your attention back to your surroundings. Notice the sounds around you, the sensation of your body. And as you start to open your eyes, come back into the room. Know that you are not alone. Carry this shared experience with you as you step back into your daily life, and let the light continue to heal and guide your journey. Come back.